And we're live! Yay! Welcome, everybody, to the 9 millionth edition of Don't Drink and Live. Once again, it's that time where your favorite, maybe not your favorite. Okay, let me try that one more time. Don't Drink and Live, where some author-tubers get together and attempt to write flash fiction Hemingway style.
What, it's just shit?
Now, what that means is we're going to drink and we're going to write and we're going to do it live. So you're going to have to check it out. What do you got to say? I'd like to introduce my guest. First off, Martin Lejeune. Martin Lejeune, tell us who you are and what you got going on.
Hiya, I'm Martin. I'm drinking gin and I'm currently working on a science fiction trilogy called Project Gibraltar.
Ooh, I like that.
Bethany Votaw, what's up?
Hi, I'm Bethany. Go ahead and sign up for my newsletter. You can find the link in my Instagram bio. But today, I put my short story collection up for pre-order. You can find it wide everywhere. Yeah, it's called Scribbles and Scrawls. Just type my name and it should pop up. But that's exciting. That's coming out June 26th. And then I have a action mystery coming out in November. And there might be a fun little prequel coming out if I can actually remember how to write a book. But that'll be free if you're signed up for my newsletter. So that's kind of what I've got going on. And I'm going to say it's Hannah next, or Kent, you gotta pass the torch to someone.
I can decide who's next around here. Yeah. All right. Richard Holliday, what's going on, man? Go ahead.
I'm here. I'm Richard. Please sign up to my newsletter once you sign up to Bethany's, but also sign up to mine. I'm an author. I've just released and published my novella, which some of you here have read.
Yay!
So check it out.
I think we all have read it.
And yeah, I think Martin hasn't read it yet, according to Goodreads, but he's going to. That's the main thing.
How dare you?
I'm waiting for it to be on Audible.
Waiting for it to be Audible. You're going to be waiting a long time.
Exactly.
Okay, Hannah Palmer, what's up?
Hi, I'm Hannah. I don't have a copy of my own book here. I don't know where it is. I wrote number 47. It's been out for coming up for 2 years now, which is insane. I have a horror novel coming out in August and also another horror in October. And I'm working on a serial. So if you're interested in some free stuff, sign up to my newsletter too. And sign up to Kent's. And I don't know if Martin has one, but if he has one, sign up to that as well. Everyone's newsletter.
Coming when there's a pen name.
It's my turn. Because I always forget to do this. Like every time we do it, I'm like, hey, everybody, tell me about your stuff. And then we just mow on. I'm like, oh, didn't do mine. Okay. I'm Kent Sean, and I'm not an author from the south of England. However, I am an author, and I'm the author of this book.
Neither am I.
By me, you can see because the name matches the name that I just told you. And I might have a book coming out May 15th called Blind Spot, book number 1 in the Millennium Tower series. So if you like supernatural action and mind-bending twists, check out my story where angels and demons team up with cops and gangsters to fight for the soul of near-future Los Angeles. And if you sign up for my newsletter, the next week it's going live, the prequel to the Millennium Tower series, the novella Collision. Only for members of my newsletter. This book will not be available on Amazon or anywhere else. So if you want to check it out, you're going to have to sign up at kensean.com. So go do that. We'll wait. Did you do it? Okay. Now, before we go on and chit chat for a little while, I want to tell you the rules. I like rules. Rules are awesome. Unless they're for me. Rules for everybody else are awesome. So on Don't Drink Live, what we're going to do is we're going to write a story in 2 10-minute sprints. We're going to take a prompt from the audience or from one of our wonderful author-tuber guests here, and we're going to give ourselves about 5 to 6 minutes to talk about what we might like to write. Once that time is up, and let me tell you, that timer is one brutal mofo. We will start writing. We'll get 10 minutes to sprint. We'll stop. We'll have a discussion, how we're doing. We'll talk about how we would rather have our fingernails peeled off than have to read it to people. And then we're going to read them live after we do one more 10-minute sprint. And if you out there in the audience are interested in participating, all you got to do is send your story to Kent SeanAuthor@gmail.com. I'll put it up once it's time. Send me your story, and one of us, the one of your choice, whichever one that you'd like, we'll read it live. So, what do you guys think about those rules? Tell me, anybody, chime in.
I feel like every time we do this, like the 10 minutes just feels like shorter and shorter and shorter. So, but I love it. It gives me like that just enough pressure to like be creative, but also not get wordy. So, Richard, how are you going to do?
That's so mean, but I'm probably going to write about 2,000
I'm asking
words.
everybody, Richard, how do you feel like you're going to do?
I'm going to do, well, how many sides of A4 am I going to write? Who's to say?
I feel like my success depends on our prompt. Because sometimes it just sparks something right away, and sometimes I really have to dig deep to get something.
I just hope our audience are prompt with their suggestions.
Get out.
That hurt. So one of the things I love about doing this stuff under pressure is you kind of have to silence your inner editor and just move forward and like let things happen. The other thing I like about it is it's an excuse to drink vodka. Okay, Martin, you have not done Don't Drink and Live with us before. Have you ever had to write a story and then show it to others this quickly?
I did participate in the chat a couple of weeks ago, but not really. I'm wondering why I volunteered at all. It was clearly a mistake. I shouldn't have come.
Have more gin.
Okay. Are you saying you're number one or the one you're calling it?
That's how many bottles of gin he's drunk already.
I'm getting there. All right. We do have some suggestions already. Let's talk about them. Clara Saint, longtime viewer, says, how about a circus problem?
Yeah.
A circus problem.
That rings a bell.
We also have from Jared Simmons. Hi, Jared. Long time no speak, man. I'm so sorry. It's all my fault. You emailed me, and I'm a jerk. Ugly sweaters.
I think that could be a good yarn.
Is that a dig at me?
Is that a dig at me?
Yeah. Maybe.
How about like family members?
Oh, that could go real dark real quick.
Family members who could have done well. I almost misread it and said family members we do away with.
I mean,
way to take it a step further. All right.
Hooray. Time for naked grandmas.
And then I don't know who this handsome devil is, but he says ducks with attitudes.
Ducks.
Hello, folks. Oh, he's just saying hi. So that's not a suggestion. All right, what else we got? Seductive quicksand.
Ooh.
You know what that reminds me of? Sexual chocolate. Who knows that reference? Anybody?
Nope.
I don't want to know.
Eddie Murphy? Okay. Well, before we get into picking a topic, I'd like to take 1 second on a serious note and say all kinds of love and good feelings going out to a great friend of this channel and probably most anybody that ever meets her, Sue Olson. Please get well fast. She had a little bit of an issue, and we just hope that she's back with us hanging out as soon as possible. Kaylin says that the title of this stream is pure gold. You know what? Just generally speaking, everything I make up is. So, that's just how it goes. No, very much.
Simmer down.
So humble.
I've read some first drafts. Like bronze.
Oh, gosh. She stung me right in the heart. Right.
Oh, yeah. I only say like because you've read some of my first drafts, so it's fine. It's fine.
So, okay. My next question is going to be, do any of you have a topic suggestion, or should we just start voting on the crazy topics that we have already?
No one said anything about voting.
About what?
Voting. We do love a good vote, don't we?
I'm going to generally decide what we're doing, but I would like to hear what the rest of you would like to do. Okay. Who thinks seductive quicksand is a good topic to destroy?
I can't deny it.
Oh, I got.
It's a good topic. I have no idea what I'm gonna do, but it just feels like there's so many possibilities.
We may be going with seductive quicksand. So what's the story with? Okay, let's take a minute here and talk about what a story was seductive. What are some
I'm
possibilities?
thinking my mind went like Indiana Jones somewhere. Like
Just a bikini.
That accent.
I think you could do a thing with like the sirens where the quicksand is
Ooh.
sentient and presents itself as something that isn't quicksand, but once you're too close, you're in the quicksand and seduced.
Martin, that is such a good idea. I want you to leave.
yeah. Get out.
Bye.
Ooh, I got an idea. I don't know if I want to share it.
Yes, you do.
Well,
Is
as usual, the stuff I come up with in this stream, it's awful. So Hannah would like it.
Yes.
I like Bethany too, actually.
Out with it,
All
then.
of you guys would probably
What does that say about us?
I'm guessing
Although-
it's dark and maybe has some naked old people in it.
I'm
Good
beta
Lord.
reading Hannah's book, One Road, and there's like so many times where I'm like, this is awful, I love it, or like this is terrifying, perfect, like just so many things.
So
I'm trying to think what one could do with seductive quicksand.
I'm still hurting from your first draft comment.
Oh, you've seen my first draft. It's cool.
Is this you show me yours, I'll show you mine kind of thing. Okay,
Yeah.
so what we're gonna do here, I think seductive quicksand is what we're doing. So you people in the chat, start thinking about it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a timer, and here's the part of the show where we get to laugh at me trying to share my screen because oh, Kaylin has some interesting comments. As a kid, I felt quicksand would be a much bigger problem in my life than it actually is. Dude, after every sitcom ever in Gilligan's Island, you had to think that stuff was everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Also lava. But you know what I like about lava?
Or like those anvils falling from the sky. I definitely thought we'd need to watch out for those.
You know what I like about lava, Kaylin, is because my floor was always lava all the time growing up. I was basically a freaking chimpanzee jumping from like couch to couch, swinging from the chandelier. We didn't have a chandelier, but that gave me
Probably because you'd be swinging from it.
yeah. If we did have one, we wouldn't have it for long. Okay, I'm gonna go try to put up a timer. Talk amongst yourselves and try and decide exactly what you want to do with your topic. If you just sit there looking dumb, it's not okay. It's not all right.
That's my thing, sitting here looking dumb.
Man, I was thinking of like some sort of like action sequence, but that is like not one of my strengths. But maybe I'll like go for it.
I kind of want an idea for why someone would buy this. Maybe they're lacking in seduction in their real life, so they buy some sort of sentient, moldable quicksand, which then consumes
Well, for like
them.
Facebook ads, you know.
Could work. That could work.
Learn how to be a manly man. Get seductive quicksand delivered to your door.
It starts nibbling at parts of them.
I'm starting to think it'd be a good name for a rock band.
Into quicksand.
It could be like a metaphor, you know, like the things that, you know, can seduce us, ruin our life, cover us, suffocate us. But, you know,
Ugh.
could go another route as well.
That's not.
Happy.
Shame on you, Don.
I know. I grew up on that.
All right,
It's an
I think
island.
we're going with seductive quicksand. Who's got a problem with it? I think we just roll.
I mean, like, none of these are awesome, but I'm like, I don't have an idea in my head, but I'm like ready to try.
I've got an idea.
I'm going to go with my idea. See where it ends up.
I don't know that. I know that
Do
much.
you want to mention maybe like potential word counts? I mean, I
Oh,
know there's some
Richard.
people that can only do so much in 20 minutes, but some people can do a lot in 20 minutes, especially if you've been writing like Kent has. 20 minutes, you're like, oh yeah, I can smash out 5
I'm not
pages.
writing now.
Well, the longest thing I actually looked at that the other day, just fooling around, and the longest thing I ever wrote on here was 1,600 words, and it was pretty tight. But
Oh, was it the author story at the hospital?
yeah.
That was good.
That was. Ooh.
So but then sometimes I've written 250. So it just kind of depends on what hits you. So like you can't make a flow state. It comes when it comes, right?
Yes. I was more towards the audience of like flash fiction is generally shorter. Don't cheat and send you a 4K thing.
Yep.
That's kind of where I was at.
Actually, Sue Olson is sick right now, but she's written some decent length stuff on here that was pretty solid. Kind of surprising. I'm going to shoot for a little shorter today because honestly, my brain is fried. I've written so much in the past few months. I don't know. I don't know if I can get much out today, but we're going to see what happens. So I'm going to set the thinking timer if I can share my screen here. So once I hit this, we can talk about the stories, but as soon as that thing's off, I'm going to set the timer and we're going to start writing. So thinking timer, I got to share the screen. God, it's so embarrassing every time. Share. Share the screen. I like how you guys make me fill all the silence.
I'm thinking, man. I'm thinking. I feel like I'm either going to get some really good, like solid 800 to 900 word story, or the first 10 minutes is going to be like absolute craziness, and then we're going to do microfiction, you know?
So where does
that microfiction?
Just like really short.
When does it become microfiction?
Isn't that a thing that started on Twitter?
45 words?
Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a tweet.
Just tell me it's not Instagram poetry, because God.
Oh.
Every time I open my thing, because they put writing hashtags on it, so I get it in my feed, and it'll be like, he left me, but what he really left was himself.
Not being funny, but I couldn't think of two more horrifying words in the English language than Instagram poetry.
TikTok haikus.
Good Lord.
It's not fun. I'm going to start.
I don't even know what TikTok is.
Oh.
It's popular with the young people.
Jesus, stop it.
In my day, tweets were 140 characters.
Which would be worse, going into quicksand or drowning? You suffocate from being crushed in quicksand before it goes in your mouth, right?
Drowning is painful.
It depends how seductive.
Quicksand is
depends what you're into, I suppose.
It depends how seductive the puddle is.
It's true.
Oh, I keep forgetting about the seductive part.
Oh God.
Like, how are you going to work that in now to this like mayhem you've created in your brain?
Kaylin's comment: TikTok is literally seductive quicksand. Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh, it is.
It really is.
That's funny. I got to put that up and cover Richard's face.
I'm still here, by the way. You can't cover me up with a much better face.
I gotta say, the only TikTokage I know about is like the stuff that migrates to Instagram. Like other than that,
that's even worse.
It's just like girls like,
TikTokage.
look at me bounce. Okay.
I still remember. I don't remember Snapchat. I didn't understand that at all. I thought, what's going on with this?
That's better.
Okay, I got it. I actually have my idea. Do you want me to tell you what it is? Or you want me to what do you want?
You have 5 words to describe what your plan is.
I'm gonna blow your mind. Sorry, I didn't mean to yell.
Panic, struggle, struggle. Quicksand.
Can I have more words?
No.
You know, if I had time for Flash, I would definitely do the 5 Commandments of story. And I'm not gonna like bore you guys all to death with that right now, but because it keeps you from just writing a long description. You got to get to a choice. Somebody has to make a choice. To me, in like any unit of story, somebody has to make a choice. So I really feel like we should have 5 minutes of outlining and then come talk about it instead of chatting. Maybe next time. Remember, we used to do this in 2 8-minute sprints. That was
intense.
Oh, it's hell. You couldn't get anything out. Stuff started getting better when we went to 10. All right, let's round the world real quick. How we're doing? I think I've got an idea I can write. So I'm feeling.
I think I've got something to go with.
They have literally nothing.
Seriously, still nothing? You want some? You want me to throw you some ideas?
No, I'll struggle.
Okay.
Okay.
I have something. I think it's gonna be really good. Or my next 10-minute sprint will be salvaging something. But I think I got something good. It's gonna be like classic Flash. Okay, sorry. Martin, how do you feel?
Classic Flash or
I've
Clash.
Just like-
something. I don't know how it's going to be or how long it's going to go, but I'll have a bash at it.
I'm so scared right now.
Okay. That bomb's going off soon. You guys got any alibis? You got any? Probably should get your
Oh, I should get a Word doc up.
mechanism of
Oh,
choice.
yeah.
Richard, what font are you using today?
Oh, I am going to try out.
Oh my gosh.
They're
Seriously?
changing the font in Word, so I've got to pick one of the new ones. I am going to try Tenorite.
Tannerite.
Tenorite? That sounds like a product, doesn't it?
Ah!
Wow, that sort of flash animation takes me back. Back when I were a wee lad.
Oh man, how does the audience feel? You guys ready? Get your stuff out. Start writing in a minute.
Adam, you better be writing something because I'm going to be checking.
Yeah, Adam, if you're here, I expect something. Okay, no pressure, but I'm gonna be disappointed if you don't send something in.
That is real pressure. If Bethany is disappointed.
So I did with you, Richard, and now look at you.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
I think that is worse than someone being angry with you if they're disappointed. That sort of consumes me if someone's disappointed.
That's what I do with my kids.
I'm not angry, I'm disappointed.
I go the other way. I'm not disappointed, I'm just angry.
I would work on the voice.
That explains a lot, Bethany. You're always angry.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody got your writing materials ready?
Oh, yes.
I got my stone tablet and chisel.
I think critical to success is me taking another drink before we start.
I think that's a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
I always wonder if the audience is cheating and writing this whole time we're like blabbering.
I would be.
I did that once. And then I sent an edited version, which got me in even more trouble.
Yeah, we knew. Anyway, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Get
Bring
set.
it.
Go! Time flies when you're having fun. And this time, too. So how do we do? Okay, we're going to go around the world. Martin, how are you coming?
Yeah, good. I've got just over 400 words, and I think I've got a decent start.
Awesome. 400 words. That's solid. Cool. And Bethany?
I have 700 words, but I kind of like, I don't think we've ever discussed this, but can I take the next 10 minutes and just like cut a bunch of stuff and keep writing? Does that count? Okay. I didn't know if we were allowed to edit as we went, but like,
No, you have to.
okay. Yeah. I think I'm going to really like it when I like cut out some stuff.
So for instance, most of my shorter ones here, I started all the way over. I figured
That's kind of where I'm at.
what I'm trying to do. And just
I really like it, but it's just too much. So I need to like trim it. But I'm surprised at the turn I took. All right.
Good. Okay. So Richard, what's up?
I wrote a relatively svelte for me 410 words.
Ooh, nice.
This is taking several turns it could go in. All of them quite creepy, so I'm quite enjoying this. I'm just gonna. Oh, you haven't read it yet, Bethany.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this one. This is good fun. I just don't quite know which avenue to go down, so I'm just going to do a little bit of all of it.
Awesome.
Fair.
See what horrifies you all the least.
Okay, Hannah gets to talk now, Richard.
We need the magic pen. I've written about 210 words. I don't think it's going to be a great deal longer than that. It's very trim, and it's in a genre I've never written before. So
What's that?
Hey.
I don't want to give it away.
Oh, okay.
It's not romance, though. Don't get too excited.
I like it.
Oh.
It's not dark at all.
What? Who are you?
I know.
Okay. So I got 222 words, and like I just said before, this was one of those things where I thought I knew what I was doing, and then I went, I got a better idea. But I like them, and actually I don't think they need any editing. So I went about 100 words in, started over, and I got about 222 fairly clean words. Well, I haven't read it back over. I'll probably go, wait a minute. But yeah, pretty good. And generally the idea I was thinking, but just trying something a little different.
I'm curious now. Do you think your story is going to grow much more word count wise?
No, I think I wrap it up in 100 words.
Nice.
Because I've brought my person to the edge of the thing that he needs to decide. So, yeah, I have not revealed the quicksand yet. 250 words in. Well,
running out of time.
How will it have time to be seductive? Just
You
for the
better
record.
be quick in getting that in there.
Richard, so painful.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm thinking about getting right into the next sprint while I still got this idea in my head. Does anybody have misgivings? Like think you went in the wrong direction?
I like where I'm ending up. I think I'm onto something. I hope that when I read it, you guys aren't like,
Huh?
exactly. But I think I'm onto something.
I kind of think I've got several creepy threads in this, so I'm just going to tug up all of them and then see what happens. I'm quite liking where this is going. This is. Ooh.
Cool.
I kind of went into this going, "Oh, this is going to be so funny," and it's not really gone that way.
Actually, Martin, you have a talent for the funny. I
You are funny.
I actually vividly remember your story from last year's short story competition. This post box, is that how you say it? Post box?
Post box.
Has a time hole in it.
Available now on Amazon.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, 99p.
I can't believe how many of the short stories in last year's competition are now published somewhere. It's a lot.
That's really cool.
So that's awesome. Okay, what do you guys think? We're going straight back into the next one?
Let's get this done.
All right.
Let's end it.
Okay. Oh, it's ready to go. Hey, Mark. Go.
Oh, God.
Done.
I'm done too.
And finish.
I finished about as much as I can finish, but well, that was getting a bit juicy.
Woo! How'd it go?
And
Hey!
Hmm.
Novel Nana is in the house. Nice to see you, Bex. Okay. So how'd it go? Dying to hear.
Well, are we going round robin, or I'm just gonna start talking?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead, Bethany.
I ended with 122 words, but I like all of them.
You like all of them?
Yeah.
How much did you end up with?
122.
From 700?
Yeah, I cut a lot.
Wow, that's
And it's
impressive.
so much better for it.
All right, send your stories in. KentSeanAuthor@gmail.com.
So yeah, this is like teeny tiny flash fiction, but I like it.
And I'm going to throw it up on the screen for anybody that wants to participate. Please send them in. And you can have the author of your choice read your story. It's tons of fun. And we've had some really nice stories show up on here, I've got to say. So I'm starting to get some stories from our authors.
What?
Let's see.
How much did you all end with, if you don't mind my asking?
Oh, I would love to tell you. Let me look.
378.
Oh, I like that. That's good.
767.
It's a big one.
831.
400 and something. I think 440.
Hey, we're all under 1K. I think that's a first.
Yeah, it might be. I've only gone over 1,000 one time, but I went way over.
Way over.
You did.
You can't make that happen though when it's just going. You can't make that happen. It doesn't. And some days, actually, I have like some issues with my hands. Some days I literally just can't type that fast.
I didn't double space it.
I'll double space it. I lose like I'm pre-arthritic from being in the wonderful army, and like some days I really have trouble. I'm gonna have to learn to dictate eventually. I know that's coming.
I know a physical therapist, so they might have some tips.
I do too.
Martin is the dictation expert in here.
Are you really?
Yes.
It's Martin.
I do talking, and the story is down, and it is good.
I do talking, and the story is down. And it's good. Yeah, I can tell. I can tell you're a master of linguistic domain.
Just wait until you hear this flash.
I'm excited.
We'll do. Let's start with Martin.
I think we should.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm pulling.
Seems like you indicted yourself for that, Martin. That's on you.
Fire.
All right.
I'm just managing expectations, I assure you.
You manage expectations by saying it'll be great.
I'm not being funny. I edited Martin's story last year, and yeah, it was good stuff. And then he placed higher than I did. So the lesson there is don't help anyone.
That's not the lesson. It's the opposite of the lesson.
Well, we should, use you as an editor or a critique partner.
In my last flash, I managed to actually give Richard a little cameo, and I didn't think
Am I in this one?
I was going to, but then I did sort of fit you in.
Thank you. It's nice to be fitted in.
All right.
Which is also something the quicksand says later on.
Oh gosh.
All right. Let me take my ugly face off the thing. Oh yeah. So quickly, for all of the folks that are in the short story contest of Doom, the results are in. The video is filmed. I'm going to edit it. I may get it up tonight, or it may be up early tomorrow for all to see. So be a little patient. the announcements go out in short, and as soon as the video's up, I'll send the emails out and all that good stuff. Don't be on pins and needles, and we're gonna not only tell who the winners were, we'll talk about the lucky 7, the top 7 stories, which is kind of funny, in the contest. So hopefully you'll be one of those. So let's read a story by Martin Lejeune. Okay, I got to get it up on the screen. I know you can see it, but I want the audience to be able to see it as well. I got to find it. Here we go again. Trying to share the screen again. Inky. This one. I think it's this one. Aha! Is that it?
That's the one.
All right, let me grow it. I'm gonna make it bigger. Aha! Oh my gosh, children! All right. Without further ado, Martin Lejeune.
Turner clung to the driftwood as the salt waters of the South Pacific splashed at him. It had been 2 days since he lost his ship, the HMS Holliday, just out of Van Diemen's Land. He had stayed on board until the last, when the deck was ripped away from under him as if by a giant hand. He had floated in the sea while so many of his crew had gone under. Now he saw the first land since leaving port. He washed upon the beach and pulled himself ashore. He was fatigued and starving, but was determined to carry on. The island had the makings of a paradise. Tall palm trees lined the beach, and the sun was low in the sky. He found a coconut upon the beach and smashed it upon a rock. Oh, too many ponds. He drank its sweet waters and ripped at the white flesh. As he walked inland, he felt a bit more energetic. The land was full of lush green vegetation as high as his waist. If only his cutlass had not been lost as he drifted in the ocean, it would have come in very handy to make his way through the brush. He walked for what felt like hours, hoping to find some sign of civilization, and was beginning to wonder if it would be better to making camp near the beach from where he would be able to attract the attention of any passing vessels. They were not far from the routes used by several of the larger whaling crews. A pig ran out from the undergrowth. If he were to catch it, he would feast as he had not since leaving port. He dropped to a crouch and stayed as still as he could manage. As his excitement grew, the unknowing porcine headed in his direction. He slowed his breathing and mastered all of his patience before diving at the small beast. The startled pig squealed loudly and immediately ran in the other direction, kicking mud at Turner's face. Turner cried out in disgruntlement as he rose to his feet in pursuit, following the porker further inland, but made no progress in catching it. As he ran, he found himself in a clearing, or was it the dining room of a Ritz hotel in London? He had dined there once with family when he was young before he left the sea for the last time. He recognised the wood-panelled room. She was sat opposite him, the Duchess of Vienna, the youngest to hold the title. He had seen her once before at the docks at Hamburg. She had been the most beautiful woman he had seen on his travels. Even the pricier maidens he had rented had not compared to her beauty. She looked at him, her eyes piercing into his soul. They were deep violet. He had sworn in Germany they had been brown. He and Kelso had been tasked with taking her portrait aboard, and the eyes had followed him around the cargo hold. "So, James," she said to him, "I'm so glad we're finally doing this." He looked at the room, feeling out of place in his ripped clothes and bedraggled appearance. He always tried to make an attempt to look nice when romancing, even if it was just with grateful Merrill, and yet the Duchess paid it no attention. The waiters in their finery sneered as they laid down their drinks, jealous that this piece of flotsam such as Turner dare sit in their dining room with a prize such as the Duchess. Her golden necklace with its famed gemstone from the East Indies in pride of place. The Duchess held out her hand and held his. "Oh, James. Oh, Dutchy. James, I love you, but there's something I must tell you." The hotel was gone. Instead, Turner found himself up to his gut in sand and slowly getting pulled down. "It's best if you don't struggle." The waiter gave him a dirty look and placed the starter course in front of him. Turner hadn't moved. He quickly pulled his arms back to allow the waiter room. "This is going to taste so delicious," the Duchess cooed. "The dinner?" "You know." Pain was building in Turner's legs. He couldn't accurately pinpoint the sensation, but it was worse than the sunburn and felt like his flesh was melting away. The Duchess chewed at her meal. "It's better this way. Surely this is nicer than drowning." She smiled as his vision faded to black.
Oh, creepy.
That was cool.
Loved that.
That was cool.
You're too kind.
I dug the idea that, or the way that I read it, may not be the way that you meant it, but that he was dinner and the Duchess was eating him and the Duchess was the quicksand. So I really like that.
That was what I was going for.
Good. Then you did it. You did it.
Nailed it.
That was really cool.
Okay. That had kind of a period feel too. Like I had the idea of people in their straw hats out on the sun deck of a like Titanic era ship is kind of what it called to mind for me.
Yeah, I've been reading a lot of sort of 19th century sailing stuff about Arctic exploration, and Richard's recommended a book about the sinking of the Lusitania. So yeah, I've been very nautical recently.
I liked it.
All right. We want to just keep saying lovely things about Martin's story, or would you like to read the next one?
Enough of this banter. On with the story.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Here we go. Let's just see which one's next in order in my inbox. Oh boy, it's Hannah Palmer. What was that?
I am so excited. Hannah writing in a very different genre.
I mean, it's a bit dark, but it's not as dark as the last time.
A bit dark. I can't go completely nice.
It's definitely not as dark as the last one.
I'm getting ready. And the tension is mounting.
I know, I'm like getting nervous.
It's not really a suspense piece, but okay.
It's rude of that tension to keep mounting people. You shouldn't be doing that. Right. Here we go.
He was a hero. He had always been a hero. Everything he had done it for those around him. Not one action in his entire life had been selfish. Not one move, not one breath, not one nothing. And now look at him, alone, cold, with sand between his toes and not a single person to call him a friend. "Hey, moon looks glorious tonight, don't you think?" He slurred, the central London accent thick in his whiskey-coated breath. "Want to get out of here and take a closer look?" She looked him up and down, eyes raking over his torn camel-toned suit. She scoffed. "I don't think so, old man." Her lips swayed as she sauntered to the other side of the bar, jet black sequins glistening across her back as she moved. Back in his heyday, that would have been easy. Back when he was big, when his name filled every mouth of every home in the city, she'd have been crawling to him, begging to spend time with him. Not now. The end of his cigarette curled as he smudged it out in the heavy glass ashtray. He downed the rest of his whiskey, welcoming the fiery liquid as it slid down his throat, scalding, a reminder of his humanity. He thudded a wad of notes down on the bar and stood from his stool, sweeping his coat over tired shoulders and placing his hat atop his greying hair. A backward glance into the bar revealed the woman he'd tried to talk to. All he wanted was a friendly conversation, and he'd managed to blow even that. Seductive, the papers used to call him. He could have laughed out loud. There she was, arm draped over one of her girlfriends, head tilted back and flicking her ice blonde hair over her angular shoulders. She didn't even recognise him. He slunk away, ducking out of the bar and into the back streets of the city that no longer required his services. He shrugged, holding his coat tight around his withering body, and, not bothering to take another glance at the skyline that once welcomed his protection so readily, he spun, his body peeling and skin flaking, drifting down the nearest drain, a river of sand. Bam.
I like it.
Yeah, that was really good.
That's not what I expected.
I got a bit of a noir feel from it.
A what, Phil?
A noir feel from it.
Oh yeah, big time. I got flappers and 20s speakeasies. That's what that felt like to me.
Very atmospheric.
Thanks.
Awesome job. Wow, this is going really good. Haven't run mine yet.
Oh, I'm looking at mine and I'm thinking, oh, geez.
All right, who wants to go next? I can go next if y'all don't want to.
Yeah.
Shall it be
Yeah, do it.
me? I'll go. Okay. I forgot what I wrote, so it should be interesting. All right. Wow. Oh, I didn't double space. I gripe at everybody,
Good.
and then I don't double space. My son is yelling at our dogs. Should add spice to the story. All right. And let's make that a bit bigger font because I'm blind. All right. Here we go. Without further ado, quicksand. I say without further ado, and I still have like 2 screens to get through. So
You're like, okay, almost.
with more ado. What's ado? I don't even know.
Dew.
A Jew.
Ah,
A Jew.
there it is. I need to scooch it over so I can actually see it around my camera. All right. Who's Jeff? Oh, never mind. Jeff's feet trod in her vacant footprints. It was raining the night she came that way, and the stiff clay held the form of her delicate feet weeks after. The rainforest, once a joy and wonder, now collapsed around him, humid and oppressive, an unwanted and torrid embrace. The path wound through the palm and twisted undergrowth that flowed like frozen slag of some volcanic disaster to the clearing where the deep footprints met their end. Jeff reached the edge, reluctant to leave the shelter of the trees. He would be exposed out there. You need to face this, Jeff. Get closer. Jeff pulled a battered photo from his pocket. Julie always teased him that he was old-fashioned. You have a cell phone, you idiot. Why carry around pictures? They always get crumpled and ruined anyway. Yeah, but the special ones should stay separate, not jumbled up. I don't know what I was meant there. Not jumbled up with pictures of breakfast and memes and cat pictures. The special ones I like to hold in my hands. The photo in his hand showed Julia, smiling in her safari garb, doing her best to look like she wanted to be here. Jeff dragged her to the jungle. It was his passion. Holding the picture, he left the shelter of the trees and his denial and walked with heavy steps to the clearing's center. On the far side, in brilliant purple and gold, were flowers. They glistened and beckoned in the morning sun like some alien sculpture, iridescent and lovely. Jeff wanted to burn them, rip them out by their roots, and scatter them like chaff. They had drawn Julia in. Fist clenched, Jeff stopped short, his questing boot testing the ground ahead. The sandy soil grew loose ahead. He grabbed up a fallen branch and cast it ahead of him on a patch where no grass grew. It hit and for a moment sat on the surface. All was still. Then slowly it sank, the earth parting and swallowing it, a hungry elemental monster devouring its prey. How long had it taken? Did she cry out for minutes or hours before the end? Julie never wanted to come here. Those long walks in the jungle were not for pleasure. She was escaping the endless fights, escaping missing the children, escaping Jeff. She'd still be alive if he'd not insisted in carrying her in his pocket out here into danger. Now she lay on some corner slab, crumpled and ruined like the photo in his trembling fist. Jeff stepped forward. The ground still held, but there was a sickening sense of something sliding beneath him. This was a bad decision, as bad as dragging Julia from her home. Another step. He sensed the hunger of the monster beneath. 2 more. The glistening flowers beckoned. I'm sorry, Julia. 1 more.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's creepy. And we got that repetition. The
Uh,
Kent Sean repetition.
I always do that.
That
like a
was.
little poem.
I think the question we all have is how did you create something that good in 20 minutes?
What do you mean?
That was like. Whew. That
It was
was
very
good.
prose heavy. It was great.
Yeah, it was. There was some real lines in there.
Well, it's super sloppy, but I mean, we all are.
What? No, that was not sloppy. That was pretty clean.
So what I always try to do in short things is find an image that I can repeat, and Bethany knows this. Who's read I like to take something that means more than one thing, put it in the beginning, and then revisit it at the end. I think that recognition in people has a weird emotional effect. So I always try to take something and try to bring it back to that. Now this time that was kind of an accident. I don't know. I didn't know where I was going with the photo thing. But then I thought if he's dragging her somewhere she doesn't want to be, he's carrying her in his pocket like a photo, not like a real person. And I thought that could kind of give him a reason to jump in the pit. Yeah.
I like it.
What you'll find, Richard, is that once you master an internalized structure, then the prose will just be instinctive.
Is that what you find, old boy?
Quite so.
I'm still working on my English accent. I really am. I'm trying. I'm working. I've got my Benjamin Milnes English accent down.
You know, if you say his name 3 times, he will appear and stab you with punctuation.
Oh,
Well, I'm working on my Texan, y'all.
right now. So, by the way, just on the topic of Ben, he gets a shout out in the middle of the contest ending video just because I goof around while I'm filming and like do voices and act like a weirdo. And so acting like a weirdo, I acted like Ben. So it actually says Benjamin Milnes impersonation in the video. So
He is going to love / hate that.
No, I'm definitely messaging him before I
I'm gonna love it.
Okay. We have done Hannah. Well, we have not done Hannah Palmer. We have read Hannah Palmer. We've read Hannah Palmer. We've endured Martin Lejeune, and we've tolerated Ken Sharon. Now let us go on, and I think Bethany's going to wrap us up tonight, unless we get audience members. So let's do Richard next. Richard, are you prepared?
Oh, I thought you were just going to skip me entirely.
Could do.
Wouldn't be
So we've tolerated Ken, so we're going to humour me.
We'll humor Richard.
If there are any puns, you're immediately muted.
Oh, you might as well just mute me now.
Okay.
No.
Why is everybody so mean to Richard? I mean, I like it. But why?
He brings it upon himself.
How do I do that? With my
All of
terrible
your
puns.
puns.
Oh,
Love it,
man.
really.
Apparently, my computer really doesn't like your story. Okay, there it goes.
That's fine. I don't like it either.
And I shall share. Keep talking, people. Okay, I'm about to train you guys to do live stream.
I'm still thinking about your story. I want you to like hire an artist or something because I want to see like this like wonderful like mashup of a crinkled photo like laying by this pit with flowers, like this really pretty scene, but only the readers know what happened. That's all I'm thinking about.
OMG.
But yeah, sometimes with short stuff, it's like it seems like it's almost better to pick like one tiny moment and try to get as much out of that as you can. Okay, without further, whatever that word means.
Achoo. Sorry.
Bless you.
Here is Richard Holliday's The Sculpt of God.
I don't know where that came from, so let's just go. His mouse hovered. Would he do it? He didn't know. So many times he'd seen that advert. It had to be a fake. It had come up so many times. Ping. Don't do it, Dave. Save your money. Save yourself. But the flowing colours, the swirling around the LCD of the screen, it was hypnotic. It took on shapes. Dave blinked. What the hell was that? He looked at the corner of the screen. A red dot on the blue toolbar. It disappeared. Zzz. That was his phone on the table. Dave picked it up, opening Outlook. It slowly unwrapped itself, unfurling a digital envelope to fill the screen. Thank you for your order of the fresh and breezy image-enhancing sculpt compound. Dave hovered the mouse over the trash can icon. This had to be junk. Don't even think about it, Dave. You're going to look so good. What? Dave said to the empty living room. His phone buzzed again, this time twice. Trust me, that girl down the pub, the one you've been giving the eye, I'll make her yours. Dave gulped. The messages from his phone appeared at the top of his emails. No senders, no information. But those thoughts, right there in black and white. No way could they know about Kirsty. Even Cal didn't know. His mouse finger wiggled on the trackpad, moving towards the close window button. I've seen those pictures, Dave. The ones you took on the sly. You don't have a chance. Not yet, anyway. Nah, he said, closing the laptop with a loud thud. The fans inside the machine whinnied, then petered out like a pathetic dying gerbil. He threw it onto the couch with a puff of the cushion. He picked up his phone. It was red hot. He threw it, clattering onto the coffee table. Cans of beer, half full of warm swill, clattered with the force. He went to bed, a deep-seated knowing within him reminding him, you need to stop this, it's getting much worse. Falling into the unmade bed face down, Dave took a breath of his own stale sweat, baked into the creaky mattress. The darkness descended and his eyes fell closed. Maybe it'd all go away. It didn't. Not that night, anyway. The fitful rest ended with a sharp, sudden clatter. Dave fell out of his pit. To call it a bed would be lying. His mum would have been furious, ashamed. But she wasn't here, not any longer. And she never would be. Dave crept out of the bedroom and into the landing, hallway. Sometimes he forgot the words. The front door beckoned, a white box askew from the letterbox. Dave reached out and pulled the package in. The aluminium flap of the letterbox snapped with a thwack. The package had his name on it, his address, all printed in perfect lettering. But the stamp seemed to run, the ink not quite dry. Huh, he thought aloud. He turned the box over. I don't remember ordering anything. Walking through, one hand holding the parcel, the other opening the door, he put the package down. He looked at his discarded phone. It was turned off and still warm. Though it was an iPhone, this wasn't unusual. That guy down the market said it was legit, but it was probably Chinese junk. At that price, it was a steal. The phone slowly woke itself up as Dave opened the package. Out came a slender box of glossy white cardboard, the fresh and breezy image-enhancing sculpt compound. He opened the box, a nondescript plastic tub falling out. It was filled with a beige material that seemed to move like a miniature little ocean, with waves and ripples with every heartbeat. The phone buzzed. He glanced. Text messages appeared. Don't do it, Dave. I think they've got you, but you just got to throw. The text disappeared, replaced with an email notification. Do it, Dave. It'll make everything just right. Dave stared at the little pot in his hand, breaking the sealing tape with his finger, running the plastic around, unzipping the seal. He popped the lid off. He stared again into the open pot. A floral but chemical smell shot into his nostrils. Part of his brain, the rational side, one that knew this was too fishy to be real. That little pot of whatever that is, it couldn't. Too late. Dave was already up and in the bathroom, controlled like an automaton, losing his creased t-shirt that was covered in pot noodle stains. He dipped a finger into the fluid, compound, putty. It was cold but moved like it was comprised of 100,000 little ants. Then he applied it, wincing to his shoulder. It was fridge frozen, but it soaked literally into him. And at that point, Dave was no longer Dave, but something else. He looked into the mirror, seeing his eyes turn scarlet and then emerald. Then he smiled wryly.
Ooh, creepy.
That was
I
fun.
didn't quite know what to do with that, so I kind of went in about 4 different directions.
I like it. I like that we get to see how confused our main character is, like how he doubts himself, and it's this slow descent to madness. I love stuff like that.
Thank you. It's very much an author avatar then.
Wait, what? What did you say?
An author avatar. I put myself in the story.
Mhm.
Like one of those blue writers.
Oh.
One for the big arrows on their heads.
Oh,
Yeah.
It gave me Black Mirror, Doctor Who vibes again.
Now, I've watched Doctor Who, but I haven't actually watched any Black Mirror for some reason.
Well, you need to right that wrong.
I think I'm already living in Black Mirror, though, aren't I?
Yes.
There you go.
So how did I'm really curious how you got from seductive quicksand to this, because I mean, is the sculpt compound your quicksand?
Yes, the idea is it's going to be some sort of mysterious / dodgy thing that turns him into some kind of zombie off the back of a fake Facebook ad.
Okay.
Thank you. We didn't say humour, Richard, so you're all humouring Richard at the moment.
As indie authors, we probably shouldn't come down too hard on Facebook ads.
No. We need them.
All right. I have a story from Adam Stevenson.
Yes, Adam.
So
You did it. I'm not
It's going to be
disappointed.
good.
So excited.
what I'm going to do is, Adam, I'm going to ask you who you would like to read your story. Please let us know in the chat.
In the chat.
I miss being in the chat so I can just make Bethany read everything.
Yeah, you're rude. And I noticed the aluminum.
Aluminium.
You gotta throw in the aluminum.
That's become a bit of a meme for these things.
Letterboxes are made of.
Yeah.
It would be a bit structurally unsound.
Aluminum.
Flimsy.
Not what you'd want in a London flat.
No.
Fit for Nightmare Tenant, though.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've read this before. Hey, man, you already wrote this.
Is
How
it
dare you, Adam.
recycling?
I will read it because it came from a Don't Drink and Live. It is not on this topic though, but I will. It's actually a rewrite of previous Don't Drink and Live. So we'll go ahead and give it its day in court, and I will read it.
It's staying cool.
Kind of feels like court when you read this in front of a bunch of people. All right.
What are you sentencing me to?
You might remember this one from a previous.
Oh wait, Adam said
Adam? Did you send me the wrong one? Okay, we're gonna give it a second.
I could just read mine, or do you have other ones?
No, I want you to go last. I want to end on the Bethany note.
Well, I might have talked it up too much because now I'm like confused.
Pleasure.
Stop.
I think he sent me the wrong thing. All right.
Mm-hmm. Could have been worse.
So do we have to fill some time now?
Go ahead, Richard. Scooch to one side and point at the thing behind you. That's what you want to do.
Other way.
This is really interesting. Like everybody's got stuff coming out. When our little group first got together, almost nobody, but maybe had out. Richard, are you playing drums? It's okay. I got to hear for that. Anyway,
I think that was just the sound of all his hopes and dreams coming crashing down.
but everybody is getting stuff out. Our little group has really started to produce, and I'm so proud of that. So happy. Yeah, that's why I muted him. Okay. But yeah, so it's really fun to watch, and it just shows how super encouraging it is to have a tribe of people all trying to do the same thing.
Well, I mean, your short story collection, you're like, should I do this? I would need help. And everyone's like, we'll beta read, we'll arc read, everything. And your short story collection came out in record time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, you had the stories written, but like to get it together.
Well, they weren't. Only one was really edited, and that was Lydia. Like all the other ones were just this mess I'd had sitting in a hard drive forever. But that's, I actually. Do any of you ever go back to your old stuff and just go, wait a minute, I could fix this now? Like you've gained the power to go back and fix something you couldn't fix before. That keeps happening to me. And
I did it for the very first Don't Drink and Live thing. I kind of wasn't taking it 100% seriously. Then I went back and rewrote it, and I really enjoyed it. I really liked it, so that was really good. Kind of what gave me some faith to keep doing this, which is nice.
All right, Adam, you're taking too long. We're going to let Bethany go here. That's okay. He'll have plenty of chance to send it to me, and we'll read it afterwards. I'm going to pull up Bethany's very, very short. Oh, my goodness.
Told you.
I may memorize it before I... Actually, hang on.
Told you it's short. It's like super flash. Super flash.
All right, Bethany, I'm bringing it up for you.
Micro.
Super flash, super fly. All right. Without further, I keep saying that, and I still don't know what it means. Sounds better that way. This was 700 words. That's crazy.
It's like 7
Martin,
stories.
you lived in France. You must know what adieu means. Adieu.
Ah oui, un petit peu. Où est le poulet? J'aime la bibliothèque.
Hey, I'm not going to have any language like that on my channel. So.
I like the library.
All right.
Okay.
Bring it, Bethany.
My sister handed me fresh sheets for the guest room and gave me a squeeze. I'm happy you're back, she whispered before disappearing into her bedroom. I'd been away for a long time. Borneo this time. I'd given aid to the locals, passed out Advil like candy, sipped on mojitos, fell into quicksand. I sat on the couch next to her husband. He turned the TV volume up. His hand rested on my thigh. It was heavy. The movies were wrong. Quicksand was like being suffocated by a blanket of gravity. It was the hard stare from a ghost he tried to outrun. I'm happy you're back, he whispered, and pulled me down. I never had to go far to find quicksand.
Ooh.
Oh.
Sweet.
So,
That was great. That
That
was
was very effective.
okay. Yeah, I think you almost got all 5 commandments of story in here. So I'm happy you're back. Is the inciting incident is that she's returned, so she's out of balance from the way she was before. Progressive complications, she's left alone, she whispered before disappearing to her bedroom. So she's now been left alone with the husband. Crisis, I mean, she can get up and leave. She's got a choice. She chooses to stay sitting next to him and just kind of reflect on what's going on. Climax, I'm happy you're back. Again, she's made a decision because she's still sitting there. So this is the result of her decision. And then resolution. She's kind of accepted it.
she kind of knew, she either planned. I don't know. This is when I was saying, like, it's classic Flash because there's a lot of unknowns that the reader has to fill in. Was this premeditated? Was it a long time thing? Was it even a woman? We don't actually know. And that's one of the things where I didn't have a title for this. I couldn't come up with one, but this is like so short that like a title with maybe multiple meanings would really just kind of like round this out. Something other than just like quicksand, but I didn't get that far.
But you nailed the prompt because seduction is in there. Quicksand is in there.
Yeah,
so this was, I call this 100% win.
It was so long and wordy, so I just cut a lot.
That's amazing. All right. I think Adam has sent me his. Bethany, I think that's my favorite one of the night.
Thanks. It's creepy.
All right. Give me it. There it is. All right, Adam. And I'll be reading it for Adam. Lucky Adam. Probably butchered it. He's like, and next time I'll have Bethany read it. Actually, Hannah, you have one of the best reading voices I've ever heard.
She does very narrating.
I forget to read though.
Minor detail.
Yeah.
That's not
Don't forget to leave your rate card for ACX.
Technical difficulties beyond my control, or because of my control, probably is more accurate.
Yeah, it's fine.
I think that's it. Bam! Aha! Here we go. Get this where I can read it over my. There we go. I decided to take a walk in the forest. My feet was a disaster. Being prince is no fun. Got to get your end away, my son. It's a must, my father said. The princess was good to look at, with long blonde hair, a thin waist, big smile. I'd love to say her voice was like the bird on a summer morning, but I never got to chat with her. How do you know if I like her if we don't talk? I asked my father. It doesn't matter, son. Who does she look? She put lead in your royal pencil, was the reply. The band played on as the feast continued. I snuck out during the fiddle's rendition of Have You Ever Seen the Rain? I wonder, thinking of the food and the princess I was to marry if I liked her. I didn't even notice that the crunch of leaves underfoot had become squelchy and sticky. I hummed Bob Dylan tunes and marched on. Whatever happened to Dylan, I wonder? Did the drugs finally do him in? Your Majesty, I hear in the distance. I ignored it. No one would know I'd gone, nor dare walk this deep into the forest so quickly. Your Majesty, the voice came again. I stopped. Your Majesty. The voice was unfamiliar, but dangerously close. Yes, I shouted, turning to see who was this desperate for my attention. I almost fell when I saw the blonde princess. Don't move, yet move, she said. Her voice was light as clouds and fitted her very well. Confusion gripped me. Pardon? The quicksand you are in is red. It's deadly? I looked down. She was right. I was up to my shin in red quicksand. So do I move or not? I asked. She looked to the horizon. Move. I went. My prince, I heard a voice. I turned. In front of me was a tall, thin, red-haired vixen. Emma Stone? In the flesh, she replied. Why are you? I came for you, my prince, she replied. Don't listen, screamed the blonde princess. It's seductive quicksand. It knows your wants and desires. You're damn right she's what I desire, said Emma Stone. I felt dizzy. Ask her questions. It'll make the sand move. My mind drew a blank. Why should I pick you over her? I blurted. Emma smiled. Because I want you. I'm not a virgin. I know how to please a man. My burst is bigger than hers. I loved that the princess, just in time to catch her, look down, then scowl at Emma. I'm sorry. I might have been better. I am what you desire, am I not? Emma asked. You are, I replied instinctively, moving towards her, the sand up to my waist. Ask her another question, my prince, quick! What food do you like? She flashed me the most beautiful smile. Steak, chips, ice cream, red onion, Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts? She nodded. The sand moved lower. Those are hideous. The sand moved away. Take my hand, said the blonde princess. I took her hand. It was soft. She pulled me away from the red grue. Brussels sprouts. Next she'll say pineapple goes on pizza.
Oh my gosh.
It does go on pizza. It does.
Very droll.
I've got to speak the term burst into a story next time I have to write some kind of.
That was
Look at
great.
my burst.
I like it. I can burst bigger than you. All right.
Jeez Louise.
Pineapple goes on pizza. Nana, it does not go on pizza.
No, it does not go in a smoothie.
I'm never going to agree with that. It's never going to
Pizza
happen.
goes in a smoothie. Well, that's something new.
Okay. That really did crack me up. All right. I'm down to about this far in this bottle. It's going to be about time for another shot. Hey, guys.
Uh-huh.
I went for Douglas Adams. Oh, that was funny.
So I've been reading all three of Lev Grossman's books, Magicians. I'm almost done with the last one, but I had to stop because I'm reading Victoria Wren's third book in her awesome series, Wild Spirit, Curse of One Adler. And it's the title of the last book is The Last Take Releases for now. And he actually kind of channels to the Terry Pratchett, Douglas Adams vibe in a big way, and kind of really an original way. I need to make sure that I don't besmirch the name of Bex, the novel Nana, by making that she likes pineapple on pizza. There we go. We're just taking care of that problem. And I really, really enjoyed it. And I recommend it to a couple friends that are big readers, not writers, they're readers. And one of them was like, this is garbage, man. I don't like this crap. He's making fun of everything. And I'm like, oh, I thought you knew who Douglas Adams was. I'm like, that is what he's doing.
That is him.
Point.
What'd you say, Hannah?
That's the point.
Yeah. And I'm like, I can't help you, man. He reads all military science fiction. So he's like, who gets killed? And I like send him that. I'm like, hey, it's cool. It's like Harry Potter with whiskey and sex. And that he went, oh, okay. And then he read it and told me it was garbage and didn't finish it. But oh well.
I like to think Douglas Adams would have liked Don't Drink and Live because there's a famous story. He used to be the script editor on Doctor Who back in the 70s, and basically they had to write.
Douglas Adams wouldn't have got anything written. He would have just sat in a bath and felt bad about not writing.
Well, no, he wrote. They had to rewrite a whole episode, and they had a weekend. They basically locked himself in the study with basically just coffee and whiskey. And that episode was the highest rated episode ever. Mainly because ITV was not broadcasting.
Okay.
That would make sense to any Americans.
I recently got into the Discworld really hard after being given Colour of Magic when I was 12 and just being like, the fuck is this? And I've never been more wrong about anything in my life. I'm about 15 books in and already just gutted that one day I might have read them all.
Yeah, they're great. I think I have read them all. There might be one or two I'm missing, but I think I've read them all.
Now, Martin, you suggested to me a good starting point because I've not read any of them, mainly because, as I put in Hannah's Instagram story, I found Lord of the Rings very much unreadable. Like,
Oh, that was you.
It was. We had words. Pratchett is nothing like Tolkien.
So I kind of feel like I need to actually right or wrong and read.
I would say if you wanted to dip your toe in, go with Guards.
That's the one you suggested, so I'm going to pick that one up.
I like Thud as well.
So the best entry point is to start with the first book. But anyway,
Probably.
I think that old style of writing, like I still like to read Dickens, but I'm never going to start a story with "it was the best of times." You know, like you can't start with the weather anymore. Like you can't stand. It was a blustery, cold day in November. Like
It was a dark and stormy night.
You got to start with the action nowadays if you want to get readers going. Like I try to.
What's hilarious is every now and again some snooty literary type pops up and goes, "Yes, well, I don't think young people today would read a whole Dickens as if they weren't published serialized."
Yeah. Yeah, I still like the old stuff though, but I do acknowledge that like a modern audience has different wants, needs, desires, problems.
Oh, you're sounding like Seductive Quicksand there, Kent.
Hannah, I believe you didn't like Dave the Triffitt, which is a favourite book of mine.
I hate it.
What?
Dave the
I
Triffitt?
hate it.
You hated it?
Yeah. First 2-star of the year. Terrible.
Wow. Oof.
Hey,
What does the book have to do to get a 1-star review? Yikes.
I don't think I've read anything one before.
You can't be that horrible.
I recently read a Stephen King book, pretty short one too. It's called Later, and I've heard some people criticize his newer stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what you're reading, because this thing was amazing, and it just a zippy read, simple story, just well written, uncomplicated, just straight to the point. It actually kind of reminded me, it's like as if Elmore Leonard would write paranormal thriller. You guys familiar with Elmore Leonard?
Oh yeah,
the guy that wrote Swag and Get Shorty and all those awesome, kind of petty criminal books. Like kind of inspired like the kind of Guy Ritchie style of not so smart criminals falling all over themselves. But he was a master of getting straight to the point, and I think that that's kind of what you need to do in a modern writing style, to me. And I think that like I've been really thinking a lot lately about first lines, whereas I used to make them like deep and meaningful. Now I'm trying to make them, this is what's happening. Like
I feel like I can go a little bit too far to that extreme. I mean, case in point, I had I just want it to be like what's on the page is on the page, and then I let the every once in a while a line of pretty prose and imagery slip in. But I think that's why I struggle with such long projects, is because I'm like, I can tell the whole story in under 10,000 words, because
we just read your thing.
Yeah.
So, and another thing is I've just finished the second draft of Forbidden literally yesterday, and which is the second novel in the Millennium Tower series. That the first book drops in May 15th. And that is some of my better stuff. And I think one of the things I did best, every scene gets straight to the point. And it moves. I don't think I've ever moved a story along like that before. And I would just like to say special thanks to Bethany Votaw
Yeah.
for
I haven't read it. Okay.
the book would not
I'm so
exist.
scared.
The book would not exist if she hadn't read the first book and liked one of the characters in it. And then it just suddenly got this crazy idea that I could just continue on the series with that character as a main character. So thanks for that.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, Harriet Hardy.
That's the one.
So Harriet Hardy, and I probably said this on here before, but I'm going to say it again because it's really interesting. Harriet Hardy was Harry Hardy in the first draft of the novel. And he was an old, fat, told this shit cop. And then when I reread my story, I'm like, something is missing in this story. And by the end of it, I went, there's no main female character. I've never done that before. I'd never written a sausage fest. And I was like, what happened? So I went back through it and I'm like, who am I going to flip? I'm going to gender swap somebody because that's just boring. It's like, salt with no pepper. You know what I'm saying? But so I went back and gender swapped and actually had a lot of fun doing it. And the part got bigger and better because of that. And then she ended up liking it. It's really a weird experience that now I've written a whole novel about her and I'm plotting another one about her. So it's maybe back in time though. Don't get excited, Bethany.
What are you gonna do? I don't want to.
Bethany's worried that I killed off her girl, so that's what's up. So have you guys ever had a character like change radically from first draft to second draft? I'd be really interested to know.
I've just renamed my main character going into book 2, and I'm so confused every time me and my partner are discussing story notes. And it's like, wait, who? Oh, yes, that name was terrible.
No, not really. One of my characters in Tracker, I just created more decisions she had to make that actually influenced the story. So she was a more integral part of it, but not really a giant shift in like what she had in the stake of the story, and her motivation not really changed. No.
I know exactly who you're talking about. How about you, Richard? Any big character changes?
So I think the biggest one I had when I was writing the Thor, which you, Martin, and Bethany have read, I gave the main character's wife, and I made her a really interesting character because I basically took her away from the action. I realised her being in the party was having too many characters floating around. So me separating her actually took the story in a really cool direction. If that makes sense. I kind of want to send this to Hannah just for her to read it because she's missing out.
Yeah,
if I say so myself.
I mean, I did think that your novella changed a lot from the first draft, The Wonderful Landowner.
Sorry?
Your novella changed a lot from its first draft, The Wonderful Landowner.
Oh, that's true. It's true. Actually, that did go through a big change through the different edits, but I think it came together. I think I'm getting better at it, which is good.
How about you, Hannah?
Yeah, so I guess the biggest change one of my characters has made is they've gone from being what you think is the protagonist to the antagonist. So swapped.
Okay.
My hero, essentially.
That's really interesting. That's for number 47.
No.
Ooh.
No, it's not for One Road either. Sorry.
Oh, you got other secret side projects.
Yeah, I think I've spoken about it before. I'm planning a dystopian trilogy.
You probably didn't mention that to me, and I've probably just forgotten because I'm getting on in the years, Hannah. I can't remember stuff.
Getting old. Yeah, it's basically the Philosopher's Stone journey, but in reverse.
Ooh.
I'm intrigued.
I'm also intrigued.
Kind of complicated, so planning.
That's
So
fun.
That's interesting. So the protagonist becomes the antagonist in the story, or you just literally flip them and rewrote
No,
it?
in the story. In the story, they start off as the protagonist, and then they switch. But then they come back again. So it's just very grey.
So you know who does that all the time is George R.R. Martin. Like if you read his earlier stuff, like I think it was Apocalypse Rag or Armageddon Rag, one of that, and a couple of the others, he has a tendency to write these characters. You're dying for them to be burned alive, and then by the end of it, you're like, yeah, get them. Pretty crazy. I think that's talent. If you could only finish books, it would be great.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm about to wrap this bad boy up. Anybody have any more comments? Any more interesting things to say? Let's hear it.
Oh, pressure.
I've never had anything interesting to say. Look at me.
Just don't start now.
No, I'm not going to change the habit of a lifetime.
Oh man, sorry. I'm feisty. I've been like bagging on Kent's first drafts. I'm just mean to Richard.
I'm the only one, by the way, who's still sober at this point.
Yeah.
Of course.
I've got no excuse for my.
I
my
am
terrible
with
behaviour.
it 100%.
I got a text from Martin saying he might be a little sloshed at this point.
That's the point.
I want a secret group
What?
chat. I'll do my best.
All right. So we're going to wrap this up because my favorite part is always the green room afterwards and hanging out with all these awesome people. And
me.
Do it. And
Richard.
This is your fault now, Richard. Like
It
everyone
is
just bags on
my-
you because you just started it with yourself.
You're inviting it.
Well, it's the only way I get attention.
okay. Thanks for coming, everybody, and thanks for watching. And once again, I'll end this the same way I always do. The only way to get your writing done is with your butt in your seat and your fingers on the keyboard. Good night. Thanks to all my awesome guests, and we'll see you again soon.
It's like tapping the right way.
Bye.
Bye.